Hey you guys, and welcome to my second YouTube video. This video will kind of tell you of how depression saved my life, literally saved my life. Sometimes when we are at the hardest peak in our life, we feel like there's so much pressure on us that we're going to crack, and we never see the good in anything. We always see the bad in it. So in my personal experience, for me, what helped me get through my depression was gaining a closer relationship with God. And that's just what I did. So I would kind of tell you guys what led up to my depression. So in 2016, so about 2.5 years ago, in 1 week, I gave birth to a child. I adopted a child, and I lost a sibling. All in 1 week, all within 5 days. So not even a full week, all of that happened. And during that time, I found out that, and one day I talked to my sister, and she seemed fine. I had just had a baby. She was congratulating me on the child, apologizing how she hadn't came over to see the child yet. And I was telling her, like, it's fine, things happen. And that was one day, and then the next day, literally, she passed away. She pretty much became brain dead. A little bit of background about her is that she had diabetes, and it turned into ketoacidosis. Once it turned into that, something went wrong. Her brain started swelling, and then her pupil started dilating, which means, she wasn't getting any oxygen to the brain. And then just like that, she went into cardiac arrest. And even with them bringing her back to life, she would have still been a living vegetable if we would have allowed her, to still live. But because she was an organ donor, they kept her hooked up long enough to where they can transfer her organs to someone that can use them. So that's a little bit of background about that. And before she passed away, she had a daughter, and the daughter dad is still living, and he's active in her life. So because her daughter's dad was in her life, her daughter went with him, but our little sister Brianna also stayed with her as well. So that meant Brianna had to come and stay with me. So at that time, I had a 4-day-old child, and then I had 2 other kids. I had, a 5-year-old son and a 3-year-old daughter. And then on top of that, I had to get Brianna, which I eventually end up adopting because she's kind of like my child. But me and Brianna age difference is only like 12 years. So it's not a great big gap between us, but it's also not, a small gap either. So for me, I wasn't ready at the time. I didn't know whether I could be happy that I had a baby, or am I supposed to be sad that I lost my sister, or was I supposed to be living in the moment that, now my little sister is here with me, and, she doesn't have to be thrown into the system. So I had a bit of mixed emotions. It didn't hit me until a year later, like, my sister's actually gone. I had my daughter on 9/21. She died on 9/26, and then we buried her on October the 8th, which is on my son's birthday. So no matter what, I would never forget any of those dates, even though I wouldn't forget it anyway. But now I know I will literally never forget it. So for me, even now, I don't know how I'm supposed to feel, or at one time I didn't know how I was supposed to feel. So I can't say even now, because now I know how I'm supposed to handle it. So at that time, it was just a lot. It was a lot for me to handle, for me to process. She didn't have any life insurance. She was kind of behind on her bills. And I had to figure things out. Like, I felt like I had to figure everything out because my pride is so big. I couldn't start a GoFundMe page. I felt like people would look down on us and feel like them girls ain't got no money. She ain't had no life insurance. And I didn't want that. That wasn't the time for me to hear anything that would have been negative. If you wasn't talking anything positive to me at that time, I was not trying to hear it at all. So God made a way, and we was able to bury her. And that's all I'm gonna say about that situation. So a year later, even after everything happened, I noticed I would have my anxiety would trigger when I will do something as simple as pass by a place called Dean's Farm. That's the last place we took our kids, which we used to take them there every year for the pumpkin patch. So I noticed one day riding down the road, we passed Dean's Farm. All of a sudden, I felt like I can't breathe, and I was like breathing like this and feeling jittery, and I felt like I wanted to cry, but I was holding tears back. And so when we passed all that, I got home. First thing I did was went to the top of the refrigerator, opened it up, and took a shot glass out, took a shot of alcohol. That calmed my nerves. And then after I did that, I was supposed to take the kids to a carnival. Or something like I'll see somebody and they'll say, oh, sorry about the loss of your sister. At that moment, I would be sad. Because I wouldn't say that I would forget, but it's like I would have to relive everything again, knowing that I no longer had my sister there. So I would go home or go to the bar, pour me a shot, and drink it. Everything would be fine. So my solution for everything was to drink. If somebody mentioned her name, mentioned a thought of her, if I thought about her, I would get in a place and I would drink. I would go to Applebee's, get slammed tore up, have to be carried home. Awful, just unladylike. And that was my way of dealing with it until one day my husband was like, babe, I think you're going through depression. And I'm like, why would you say that for? He was like, you're drinking a lot. You're drinking to go to sleep. I was drinking everything from gin to Hennessy to red wine, pink wine, white wine, anything that burned the back of my throat, I was drinking it. And that was just how I handled it. And then he was like, maybe you should try counseling. Maybe, that would help. He said, just because you go to counseling doesn't mean anything wrong with you. It just means maybe you need somebody on the outside to take an inside look on your life, which he was absolutely positively correct about. Excuse me. I started going to counseling and I realized maybe I was going through depression. One thing that he told me, he said that you're so busy being this mom, being this lover, being this friend that you don't take time out for yourself. What have you done for yourself lately that had made you feel better about yourself? And I'm like, I got my hair done. And he's like, no. You need to take time out, not get your hair done, not get your nails done, but dedicating a day to you where you do nothing and you don't have to worry about anything at all. And so I started doing a little bit more of that. Time went by. I still saw him. I saw that everything was starting to get better, but I would still be drinking some. Then one day, I decided to drink and get in the bathtub. And I fell asleep in the bathtub. I woke up, it was like 2 hours later. So, I'm all shriveled up like a little prune coming out. And I'm thinking like, well, dang, I am drinking to go to sleep. Like every night, in order for me to go to sleep, I would drink some alcohol, get in the bathtub, and then get in the bed. Not even realizing that I'm using that to kind of cover up something. One day, I realized that, I'm not even going to say it was one day that I realized, but I kept having something weighing heavy on me. And it was telling me like, you can't drink to seize your problems. Because even after you drink, your problem's still going to be there. No matter what. And it was telling me you need to get your life together. And it was God. God was literally telling me, how is it that you're going to take care not only of your little sister, but your 3 kids, and then be an aunt to your niece? How are you going to do all that if every time you turn around you feel like you have to have a drink? How do you think that's going to make them feel? How can you even say you're going to even be a good mom to them if every time they see their mom is picking up a bottle or drinking out of a bottle? And that's when I realized, like, you're right. I can't do this. So for me, I turned into something positive. And at that moment, God said to me, you're never going to see your sister again. You're never going to hear her voice again. And it's okay. It's okay. I know that sounds sad, but it's okay. And he said, because if you get yourself together and you do what you're supposed to do in the earthly kingdom, when you make it to the heavenly kingdom, you will see her again. You won't recognize her by flesh, but you will recognize her by spirit. So when he said you'll never see her again, he mean I will never see her flesh. And I was like, you know what, you're right. And he's like, you work on your home here. You know, your home, your temple is your body. So that you get your soul prepared and you do everything you're supposed to do here, so that when it's your time to go and you make it into those heavenly gates, you will see your sister again. So from that day forward, I kind of looked at it as if I have to live right. And the only way that I am going to see her again, see my grandma again, see my granddaddy again, is if I do what I'm supposed to do here. And it just makes sense. And ever since then, I decided I'm going to dedicate my life to God. You know, I don't drink now, and I don't curse, and I'm living by his word, and I'm reading his word, and I'm understanding his word, and I'm praying before I do any of that. Life has been easy. So just want to let you guys know that in 1 week, I birthed a child. I adopted a child, and I lost a sibling, and I'm still here, you know. And a bishop once said that you cannot avoid death. The only thing you can do is prolong it. We all have to go, but you can't let that or anything negative take control of your life. You have to keep pushing forward, or if you don't, your life will be at a standstill and you will have accomplished nothing. And I realized that when you have kids, you're no longer living for you. You're living for those kids. No matter what you do in life, you do for your kids. Even though you work each and every day and you say, I'm working for me, you're working for your kids. You're paving the way for them because they're looking up to you. And if they don't have you to look up to, who are they going to look up to? They're going to look up to the wrong role model. So I'm here to say that depression doesn't have to suppress your life. You can take that negative and you can definitely turn it into something positive. And that's exactly what I did. I knew that in order for me to see them again or look forward to them, I have to abide by my earthly journey and make sure that I'm doing everything that I'm supposed to do. So that is the end of my story. 2016 was pretty much a crappy year. I could not enjoy my maternity leave, but it's okay though, because I see that made me a stronger person, and I probably wouldn't be where I am today if it wasn't for that tragic situation that I went through. Some of it was tragic, some of it was good. But it's all in how you decide how you're going to take it. Are you going to turn the bad into good? Or when things get bad, you're going to turn it worse? It's all in how you decide to do it. So thanks again for watching my video. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And if there's anything else that you guys want to talk about, discuss, I'm open for it. So don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Thank you.